Hello everyone, welcome back to another So I've Been Reading. I am the Rat, and this is the Rat's Nest. Today we're finishing up the first little series of So I've Been Reading, because I did Bleach and Hunter x Hunter. Those are pretty much one-off episodes. I mean, I might do more Bleach, but that's going to be Book Club on Goopers and Screens. Check it out, link in description. This is Kaiju number 8, and this is the third So I've Been Reading of it. And I'm now caught up to the current weekly releases as of the time of recording. This is going to come out 3 weeks from now or so there might be one or two more chapters out of that. Well, actually, I don't know, because it said there's like a huge wait for the next chapter, so I mean, I don't know. I hope the mangaka is okay. Or maybe he's just taking a long break. Hey, people deserve it, you know? And so this is Kaiju number 8, notes 3. All my notes is notes 3. And we are going from chapter 44 to chapter 68. I thought it was going to go to 69. I thought it was going to be a funny number, but it didn't. Yeah, no, this batch of chapters, I love them. Kaiju number 8 is a really fun series, and I really have enjoyed my read-through of it. There were a ton of cool revelations and a ton of cool setup stuff that's happened in here. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing where the series goes in the future. Without further ado, let's get right on into the review. We started off, and we kind of ended off last episode in a somewhat awkward stopping place. It was their first mission under the 1st Division, and Shinomiya is helping out Kafka, right? And we get to see the backstory with her mom, where her mom was like this super big military person, was like super good and talented and stuff. And it's like, can't wait to see how she dies, and she's super nice. I think later on, I don't think it's here, we get to see her talking to Isao, or General Shinomiya, and it's basically like, she said that she wants to join the force. She said, if that happens, she said, I'll train her. She said, I'm going to have to harden my heart to train her, to teach her how to survive. She said, so you're going to have to be like the loving and doting parent. And obviously, she goes and dies, and so then he has to become like the hard-hearted one. But hey, Shinomiya turned out pretty good other than the trauma. So I'd say that worked out pretty well. So we get to see the reason Kafka can't transform is that he's scared. He's scared that he's going to lose control again. We see a vision of him killing everyone. I remember I was reading this. I was on a call with my friends. I was like, oh, yo, that's based, though. I was like, that's kind of based, though. And it is kind of based, though. That's so true, me. Thank you very much. But yeah, so Kafka, that's the reason he can't transform, is that he's scared that he's going to lose control again. Not something with the kaiju bug. That's just fear setting in. And we get to see he finally does transform, and that's good. He does it. Shinomiya talks him out of it, and we get to see him versus number 9, round 2. Kaiju number 9 has evolved, but Kafka can utilize his powers more now. Since losing control, he was able to realize more of what Kaiju number 8 can really do. He just hasn't been utilizing it. Now number 9's evolved, and we learned there's 3 bodies. I think there's just 2 now, and so just beating him up, and they're like, oh, we need to get back together. But we learned that number 9 is learning, and that he acts like a virus, like kaiju. He acts like a virus kaiju. And it's like, he can learn, and he's very smart. We learn later he created number 10, and he can modify kaiju and stuff and like bring them back to life. So it's the question of who exactly is number 9 that he's able to do this, right? Whose personality did he absorb, or what to make him like this, or how was he created, and does he have some sort of connection to the little bug kaiju of Kaiju number 8? We get to see specifically his goal is to take back the power of Kaiju number 8, and that's kind of his whole thing. He wants to take back the weapons made by the kaijus and bring that power back to the kaiju side, as he says, and so. What is exactly the bug of Kaiju number 8? That's the big question of what is that? Why did it choose Kafka? Obviously, now we know Kafka is turning more and more into a kaiju. But yeah, so we get to see number 9 acts like a virus. We get to see that Gin has he has the retinas of number 1, which is the future sight kaiju. So he starts absolutely demolishing. Number 9, and they think they kill it. Right? And they think like, oh well, yeah, woohoo, we did it. Because Jin is super strong, and so is Kafka. And I really like the scene where they were like, there's only been 2 breaches in this entire thing, this huge event that's happened. And they were like, this big, like, undefeatable division that General Shinomiya always, like, dreamed of. Like, they said, like, that's finally here. And we see General Shinomiya himself thank everyone. He thanks Hikaru, and she's like, oh, that's so sweet. Then I love you, Daddy. And then he dies. That's so true. See, number 9 is behind General Shinomiya and thinks he's a host. That's like, that's whenever we figure out there's been a third body this entire time, right? The 2 they fought down there never really mattered. They're Beta and Gamma. Assumedly, this one is Alpha. This is a real deal. And so he fights with General Shinomiya. It's a cool fight. I really enjoyed it. And he's like, if I can't have the 8's power, right? If I can't defeat Kaiju number 8, take his power. He said, I will defeat the host of Kaiju number 2 and take his power. Specifically, he says, he wants to start the Great Kaiju era. He said he wants to bring Kaiju number 2 back to the Kaiju side. And he says specifically, like, his motivation is to get back all the Kaiju power. So it's like, oh, that's kind of a problem, because you see a lot of the main characters use the Kaiju power, so they're gonna be kind of a target. Number 9 versus Isao, based AF, honest, awesome fight. It really is an awesome fight. Isao unleashes a lot of number 2 power, almost killed number 9 after flashback. Yeah, after flashbacks. That's kind of where the second round of flashbacks happened, where we see kind of like he had to harden his heart. He's like, I've never been a good father to her. He said, I have to give everything right now. He said, even if I don't fight again, he said, because the younger generation's about to take over. I really like that, how like this generation is like, people are acknowledging like, there are some insane people here. Obviously with the Shinomiya, and later we see Reno and even Iharu, who has grown on me. We'll get to that, but he's grown on me a lot. But yeah, so we get to see him fight, and he almost destroys it. He lets go of number 2's like hyper beams and whatnot. But he almost destroys him. There's just one more attack he would have, but he didn't. And so number 9 is able to fuse with him and take over his, kill him, right? And this is big. This is the first death in Kaiju number 8, and I think it's treated with a lot of respect. I think it's well done. General Shinomiya was always a candidate to die. And I can appreciate the willingness to kill him off. Now, watch me say this, and whenever they defeat number 9, all the people it absorbed come back to life, which is entirely probable, in which case I will be mildly disappointed. But for now, I can appreciate the balls it takes to kill off a character, even if it's a relatively easy to kill off character like General Shinomiya, kind of obvious one. We can see Isao is dead, lol, probably. Number 9 is tapping out after fusing with him. Kafka and Gin get there just a little bit too late. But they start fighting with him, but he gets away. And he wants to start the Kaiju era. But like, is this his own will? Is this the will of someone else? Who is Kaiju number 9? That's a big question. Who is Kaiju number 8? Do they have some sort of connection? Obviously they have the number 8, number 9, but that's not a connection between the Kaiju so much as a connection in story order and in order of the story there. But still, it's kind of insane. Then we get to see Isao's funeral service. It's nice. I think they treat this death with a lot of respect. And it's also part of the reason why I don't think they'll bring him back. They could. They have a little scene, I think it's in the most recent chapter 68, where he's kind of there. He's like, I've tried to fight back. He said, but I can't anymore. He said, I'm leaving it to everyone, the Sofco people, and he leaves it with Kafka. And then he fades off. So I don't know. They could bring him back. I would hope they wouldn't. I think that his death was handled well. Shinomiya, she stays at the desk, and then Gin comes in, and she's like, I'm gonna get stronger. She's like, I need to get stronger. And Gin's like, okay, based. And yeah, that's that. We learn later she's gonna take number 4. But she promises to get stronger. That's right. This is whenever Gin promises to train her, and it's like, yeah, he's like, you're gonna be the strongest person next to me. It's like, okay, Gin, that's kind of based. That's kind of a based move right there. And we get a very nice scene with Kafka and Gin kind of comes up to Kafka, and he's like, decision to keep you lives with me. He's like, I hope you understand. He said, we can't keep you in the Defense Force, but then he looks at me and says, but I need your power, Kafka, and I was like, okay. All right, okay. This Gin guy is growing on me. I really like Gin. Man, is there a bad character? I used to dislike Iharu, but then he really grew on me with the whole little Reno little section with him and Iharu. But man, I don't know. Just the character writing in Kaiju number 8 is really good, right? I absolutely love all of the characters. I would say absolutely love all the characters. You have your side characters and whatnot. It's like, okay, cool. They're not going to get much development, and that's fine. But of the main cast, they all grow on me, and I really like In's power. I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. And then we get to go back to another one of my favorite characters. Talking about characters, Hoshino. And then we get to see Hoshino with number 10, who isn't dead. Shocker. Number 10 wants Hoshino to weaponize it for info on number 9. And we get to see number 10 reveals that number 9 created it. So not only can number 9 modify Kaiju and revive Kaiju and evolve himself, but he can create named Kaiju. And that's not too freaking good. Especially because number 10 says that it's just the prototype, right? That's not very good at all, because what's going to come later. And I think at the end we got some sneak peeks of some future named Kaiju that number 9 is going to create or has created that are going to go up against our new number suited friends. But it's a cool reveal. I like number 10 and Hoshino being like, what is that thing? It scares me. It creeps me out. I love Hoshino, and this whole scene was cool. Hoshino is going to become a wearer for number 10. I like that. I'm looking forward to seeing more of him, probably. We get to see everyone's meeting together to learn some more information about number 9 and number 10. We get to see that divisions 1 and 3 are rivals, and again, it's fun talking with Hoshino and all that. This is where number 10 was a prototype, and he wants to be a weapon so he can fight those that come after him. And so that's good. So I trust him to a degree to not turn on Hoshino, but we just don't know. It's the question of how much of themselves do they retain whenever they're turned into a weapon. Because number 6 still has a personality, number 6, and so does number 2, and number 8 is just Kafka and still alive. But yeah, so that's the question of what happens whenever a monster or Kaiju willingly becomes weaponized. And we get to see that Reno is potentially compatible with number 6. There's the genes, number 6 being the strongest Kaiju thus far, I believe, at least as to how it's been established. Number 6 being incredibly strong and incredibly deadly. Obviously, that's where Shinomiya's mom died with. Number 6 is essentially Godzilla. I've been waiting for the Godzilla one. A lot of them are based around Godzilla. I feel like number 6 is the most direct Godzilla counterpart. So then the question becomes are we going to get to see Ghidorah? Are we going to get to see Mothra? I don't know. You think Kaiju, you think Godzilla, and so I think number 6 being the big bad one, kind of being like Godzilla. It's okay, cool. I wonder if we won't see just a direct Godzilla, but that'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Kaiju has a lot of lore and it's all very fun. But I think number 6 is the Godzilla parallel. Reno is compatible, but it'll take some work because he tried on the gloves and it's he sees number 6. And then we get to see them. They're in the field after a month. The division, I think it's Division 4 Captain Ogara, I think is his name. I wrote it down here in my notes. Ogata. I remembered it. I read this last night. You could say I have a good memory. That he doesn't want Reno to take the suit, and we learn later that's because he was friends with Hikari. Am I remembering that name correctly? Hikari. Yes, I did get it right. I'm so smart. Look at me. Leave a like on the video to support my further education. So dumb. Ogata was friends with Hikari back whenever they were in school, and he almost he didn't dissuade her from using number 4, and he believes that's what ultimately got her killed, because that put her into combat with number 6, which is obviously where she died, and so he just doesn't want to see that happen again. And we see that later Mina talks to him and is like, I wanted to run it by you. He said, since you're the captain with the most adverse viewpoints towards the numbered suits. And he was like, yeah, he said he's strong. He said he can handle it. He said when we need it. He said that younger generation sure is something. But before all that, I'm not going to quite skip that scene because this is a lot of Iharu and Reno. And this is where Iharu really grew on me. I wasn't too big on him. I think it was part 2, maybe part 1, where I was talking about Iharu, And I was like, yeah, I mean, he's a cool character, but he wasn't my favorite. But he's really growing on me. I think he was written really well. This chapter section, I think he was presented really well, where he was kind of like all my life I've always been. He's like, but I've realized that I'm not an elite. He said I've always been good. He said, but I'm not an elite. No matter what I do, I can't reach them. He said, He said, I think what the conclusion came to. He said, you can go on through the door. He said, I'll be there waiting. And he's there to support Reno, and he talks to Reno. He's like, you got to get up, dude. He's like, you got to do this. It's a good characterization. I can't remember his exact words, but he's done very well, and he helps Reno out whenever Reno loses control or starts to lose control to the power of number 6, and he kind of goes in there and rescues him and helps him out and prevents him, 1, from dying, and 2, from never being able to use number 6 again because he would have failed the test. But they succeed. They work well together, and we get to see that Iharu, actually, while normally he's just like a 20%er, I think his record was 24, it said, he can spike up to be on levels on the same as Reno and whatnot. And we don't know exactly what that means yet, but we get to see Ogata say like maybe he's like me. So this is maybe a specific type of officer and suit power, whatever, to where, it does spike during moments, or maybe there's some activation event to make it spike. But he's like, basically, yeah, he's like me. So this means that Haru is going to become strong in the future, right? it means he's going to become a threat, and I don't doubt he'll probably eventually defeat a named kaiju on his own. But I am very much looking forward to reading more of him. I did quite enjoy his character during this, and we get to see him and Reno grow a little bit closer, and it was very nice. I actually get to see, we go back to Kafka, we get to see him and Hoshina kind of reunite, quote unquote reunite. Hoshina and Kafka. Sorry, I was thinking Reno. I was thinking of whenever Reno. Yeah, Hoshina and Kafka reunite, and Hoshina is like, holds a sword to him. It's like, that's for keeping your secret from me. He's like, you want to be strong, right? And Kafka's like, yeah. He said, I'm going to take your place. He said, if you want to take my place, he said, you got to get strong. And Hoshina's like, I'm going to train you. I love Hoshina so much. He's one of my favorite characters in the series. And so just knowing that in the future, I'm going to get to see him and Kafka kind of duke it out and him train him. They kind of do a little mock battle, and Kafka realizes, he's like, that's a move that General Shinomiya uses. He's like, this is a martial arts form General Shinomiya perfected. He said, you can't use weapons. He said, your usage of your suit sucks. He said, but you're going to learn this, so that while you're in a human form, or even while you're in kaiju form, you can learn how to fight properly. It's just going to make you so much more effective and so much deadly. I can't wait to see that. I think this is going to be a huge thing for Kafka. I love Hoshina, so getting to see them together more is going to be kind of freaking based. Kafka and Hoshina train some. Kafka sees a hallucination, and at the end, at the shrine where they keep all the it's like a shrine to everyone who's died fighting kaiju. Kafka sees a hallucination, like a samurai guy with like an Oni mask that kind of looks like the mask of Kaiju number 8. So it's like, what is Kaiju number 8? A kaiju? Is it like a past spirit of someone who fought a kaiju? Is it a past kaiju spirit? Are there past users of Kaiju number 8? There's so that one little scene has so many questions in it. That's cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. I don't doubt that it has something to do with Kaiju number 8. And kind of the origins of it, as what exactly is the bug kaiju, and the big question being, have there been past users of Kaiju number 8? But if there were, why aren't there any records of them? We just don't know. That's going to be a question we're going to have to wait and see about. After this, we get to see Kafka talks with everyone again. He gets his phone back after 2 months. Shinomiya gives it to him. She pulls some strings and whatnot. He gets it back, and he gets to talk to everyone. He accidentally hangs up on Reno, picks up for Haru, and Reno's like, bruh. That was good, but getting to talk to everyone again, they're just like, we're just glad you're safe, dude. And he was like, I was scared you guys were going to hate me. And he's like, there's not a single person here who thinks that. He said, every person here. He said, of course we're scared. I think this is Haru was saying, of course we're scared. He said, but there's not a single person here who doubted you after seeing everything that you did, right? And it's just, the third division is really cool. I'm looking forward to maybe getting to see them all reunite in the future. But getting to see Kafka and Reno reunite for the first time in a while was very nice, and I hope we get to see more scenes of them together in the future, with Reno kind of catching up to Kafka in terms of power with wielding the number 6 suit. I am very, very much looking forward to seeing it. And then we get to see, there are a lot of kaiju springing up, probably created by number 9. I mean, before that, there's a nice little scene where Kafka's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a dummy," and Shinomi is like, "Yeah." There are a lot of kaiju springing up, probably created by number 9. And we kind of get a montage there. I think those are going to be future named kaiju that we see defeated in the next arc or next couple arcs. There's some interesting ones. I thought the monolith one on the train tracks was the most interesting. But if there's one thing, the kaiju designs always hit. Kaiju designs do always hit. And I've really enjoyed seeing them, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of those in action and the different fighting styles they have, and seeing, okay, how do these now named kaiju users kind of battle. I think that's going to be a lot of the focus, especially since the last thing we kind of hear here is that Shinomiya is going to be wearing number 4. So that essentially takes care of all our main characters in terms of power scaling up to named kaijus. Obviously, Kafka himself being a named kaiju, Hoshino going to be wearing number 10, and Reno going to be wearing number 6, and Shinomiya going to be wearing number 4, and Gin becoming a main character too, and he's the user of number 1. Number 2 is back with the kaijus, but we have, I think, 3, 5, and 7 that I think have users. We just don't know who they are yet. Mina might be a user, but I think we would have heard about that, or maybe we have, and I just can't remember. I don't know. I suppose we're just going to have to see. But yeah, that is Kaiju number 8 so far, all 68 chapters of it. It was a ride. I really had a lot of fun with this. I'm very much looking forward to the next chapter. So I think my plan is for the So I've Been Readings of it. I'm not going to do a weekly chapter review whenever it starts back weekly. I already have Chainsaw Man and One Piece, and those are 2 of my favorite manga of all time. And I love Kaiju number 8, but it's no Chainsaw Man or One Piece, at least to me. So I'm not going to do a weekly chapter review. But I think I'll wait for a couple chapters to accumulate. I'm still going to read it weekly, but I'll wait for a couple chapters to accumulate, take notes on them. And then I'll just make episode 4 whenever a couple more chapters have come out. So that's going to be a while in the future. But if you enjoyed this series, starting next Friday is Dragon Ball. So I've been reading. I've already started it. So I read this group of chapters last night. And I started reading Dragon Ball after it. I was really excited to get into it. I've read about half of Volume 1, and I am really enjoying it so far. So be on the lookout for that. If you have watched all 3 episodes of this series, thank you very much. I hope you're looking forward to Dragon Ball or maybe some other content from Rat's Nest. And if you're this far in the video, there's obviously something that you like. So be sure to like, subscribe, and go check out Goobers and Screens Book Club on Goobers and Screens with me and Kyle on Goobers and Screens. Link in the description. We're currently reading through Hunter x Hunter Bleach is next. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you all look forward to the next one, and I will see you all then. Bye-bye.